You know what's up, it's time to react. I'm just alright. Let's vibe it out, drop it in the chat. Yeah, just like that. Say something nice to me, drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat.
Welcome back to my channel. My name is Janae and you're watching Janae Sunday Talks. And today we're going to be discussing Sammy. He is an R&B singer. He's been around since forever, like since he was preteens, I believe, 12, 13, something like that. And he got into a dispute with his child's mother. And usually he's good with staying out of the public's eye as far as any negative press or anything, any negative stories. Well, as far as I know, he's just clearing the air that it was nothing physical. It was a verbal dispute. And he just wants to clear the air. So he went on to Cam Newton's podcast to clear the air, to tell his side of the story. But let's get started.
You were recently in the news.
Yes, sir.
For not all the right reasons. Right?
Yes, sir. Was a dispute verbally between me and the mother of my child, Journey. Not the first, not the second, but no one was physically harmed either.
Okay, so it appears to be like more to the story, like on the spiritual aspect of it all. He's saying that this wasn't the first time that this happened. He and his child's mother had a dispute, an altercation, non-physical, just verbal. I understand, you may love the person, have feelings towards the person, but if someone is not good for you, they're just not good for you. And sometimes it is harder to leave. But if they're putting you in situations to where you're getting arrested, it just may be best for you both to go your separate ways. Sometimes it's not always easy to do right away, but if you are in a relationship to where law enforcement has to get involved, I think it's time to go.
The mother of your children. Or were there signs that things were not okay?
No child was harmed, and that's my fault for staying too long and hoping for change or accountability.
Yes.
And again, I'm not a perfect person. We broke up in June of last year. She's doing her, I'm doing me.
I mean, at least he knows that, and no one is perfect. We all make mistakes, and he can learn from this situation, and he has taken accountability for it. As he stated, he stayed longer than what he should have stayed. And sometimes that happens a lot. In your mind, I need to leave the situation like ASAP. But you stick around because it's not always bad. A lot of times the situation is not always bad. So that's what keeps you staying in the situation longer than you intend to stay. And that could be so detrimental to your mental, physical, and well-being.
We get into an altercation Sunday evening. I get booked that evening. By the grace of God, I was released from jail enough time to go to Charlotte to give birth to my newborn son, my first son. So the anger, when she saw that mother post her experience of his birth on Instagram, led her to say, oh, I'm already losing my family and you think you about to go play house here? I'm going to ruin you. That's why this happened.
Wow. That makes sense. That she felt hurt from the situation because, as he stated, they did already break up. As he stated that they parted ways. But then she heard about the news on Instagram. I understand, that would just, because she's already going through it mentally. Her and Sammy already have a child together, but then to see him, not even to see him say it, but to see another woman post it for the world to see, that the man that you were with and you have a child with, that he's welcoming in a new child. So that pretty much just solidifies that your relationship with him, y'all both are definitely done at this point. And I could understand that, the rage she may have been feeling, the anger, just her not thinking straight at that moment. As he stated, I'm just going off of what he's saying. And I get it. Yeah, that can make you feel like you've been betrayed, even though you both are going through your rocky moments. You're not together at the moment. If you're already going through it, that just puts the icing on the cake to where you're no longer thinking logical anymore. And that's also dangerous as well.
Yeah, I can say, hey, you don't got to talk to me like that. But what started to happen to me is I started to become that.
Wow. See, that's another reason, and I'm not speaking bad of his ex because I don't know her. I don't know either one of them. I'm just giving my opinion. He's saying that he's typically not a confrontational person. He doesn't like chaos. He doesn't like drama. But because they were in that chaotic relationship, the way he usually thinks, to handle everything peacefully, calmly, that just all just went out the window. And he just became something that he was totally against, which was chaos, drama, arguing. And that usually happens. That's why you have to really be careful. People don't realize that when you're with someone, you become one. Even when you're not married, you become one with that person, meaning that you're spiritually connected with this person. So that's why a lot of times they call it like a soul tie, because you really do become one. And that's the dangerous part of it, is breaking away from that, because you made a union, you became one with one another. So you cannot be unequally yoked with a lot of people, meaning that if someone is some way, like they have an anger problem, I'm just speaking in general. If someone has like an anger problem and you're around them all the time, you will pick up that person's bad habits, their anger. You will pick up the negative behavior of the person that you're around a lot of times. You will become that person if you're not careful, and not in a good way. You'll become them and you're not even realizing who you are anymore. You're becoming unrecognizable because you're unequally yoked. But because you became one with that person, you slept with that person, you're intimate with that person, you're exchanging spirits. So you really have to be careful. That is real. You really have to be careful. You become one, as in their ways may become your ways. You lose yourself, basically. You lose your identity because you become one with that other person. So be very careful who you lay down with, who you even entertain. It's not only even intimate, it's who you entertain, who you keep company with.
I started to fight fire with fire and not being able to be the calm in the midst of chaos. Tiana's broken because while we were broken up, I created another life on this earth. And I'm standing up, 10 toes down, chest high, head high, to be there for all my children.
At least he's owning up to his mistakes. No one is perfect. You live and you learn. Taking care of his child, well, his newborn child. He's trying to make right of the situation, this chaotic situation that he has created himself, and he owns it. He owns his wrongs. He knows what he could have done better in working on himself. It's just work on our mistakes, working on not making the same mistake, trying to be a better person, removing ourselves from situations that does not serve us in any way. I don't care how long you've known the person. If the person is not good for you mentally, spiritually, get away from them. Get away from them, because you're doing yourself more harm than good.
But it's like it's sinners. You seen the movie?
Yeah, the devil wanted little Sammy. The movie Sinners was about a young man that they called Little Sammy. It was spelled the same way my name is spelled, not with the Y. Sammie. And had he not been singing in that juke joint, the devil would have never stopped. to come disrupt that party. So have I seen Sinners? I am led to believe that that movie was mirrored, indirectly or directly, of my life. When I watched it, I cried. When I watched it, I got chills. Because everything that I've endured, from Lil Sammy to Big Sam, is everything that was conveyed in that.
That is scary. That's actually scary. That a movie comes out because he's in the industry. Sammy is in the industry. So to see a movie, and usually, as he stated, Sammy, usually everyone, majority, I should say, majority of people named Sammy is Sammy, but his is Sammie. I didn't see the movie, but he's saying that he feels like that movie mirrored his life. That is scary. That he's saying that the devil wanted, in the movie, that the devil wanted his voice to use it for like worldly purposes, not for God, but for the world. Not use it for the good, but to use it for the bad. And he realizes that. Like, that is really scary. Could you imagine?
But yes, I have seen Sinners.
Wow. He's saying from since he was young in the industry until now, that movie has mirrored his life from adolescence until adulthood. That's scary. And I could totally understand why he shed some tears. And that could be, I didn't see the movie, but what he's explaining of the movie, that the devil wanted to use Sammy's voice in the movie for bad. So maybe that's like a spiritual warning for Sammy. It's trying to awaken him spiritually again. Like, you know what? You got to get your life back in order. I'm not saying Sammy's life is just totally out of whack and out of order, but he just needs to, polish up a couple of things, like with his relationship first. I think he's already done that and working on that now, but more like with his music per se, maybe he needs to clean it up in that area, because he is making music to where it does, whether he believes it or not, or understands or not, that it does influence people that's listening to it. I'm not saying that Sammy's music is all bad. That's not what I'm saying, but maybe it's some things that he needs to work on spiritually within his music to get that message, a positive message, sent out to the masses. And he does realize that sometimes things happen to spiritually awaken you again, because sometimes you could steer off to where you're spiritually dead.
And yes, it was about a boy named Lil Sammy that had a voice that the devil was so attracted to and wanted to take. And he had an option to continue to chase fame or stop. I'm not chasing no high. I'm chasing God and righteousness and saving as many souls as I can for the duration of time God allots me on this earth. But yes, I've seen Sinners. I'm just happy that you said that, because I've been waiting for somebody to say that. Have you seen Sinners? And when I was watching this movie, I just saw myself.
Yeah, so many would say, oh, he's just saying this because it's out in the media that, he had this verbal dispute with his child's mother. He's just trying to save face by saying that he's spiritually awakened now. Listen, regardless of why he's saying this about God, about Jesus, it doesn't matter. The fact is that he sees what's right and wrong. Okay, and that's good to put out there to the masses. So what he's doing is still a service to God. It's still a service spiritually. I commend him for seeing his rights and his wrongs. And again, no one is perfect. No one is perfect. Sammy, I pray that you continue to walk in the path of righteousness. Of course, you're not going to live 100% perfect every day. That's not possible. But you can do your best to stay on that straight path to righteousness. The first thing I want to say is, I don't know what's in that cup, Sammy. I don't know what's in that cup. And I don't want to judge you. But if it is alcohol, maybe you could work on trying not to drink alcohol, because sometimes, and I'm not saying you were drinking in the time that that situation happened, or, a lot of times you can make bad decisions when drinking alcohol. Your mind is not as clear. Sometimes it can make people misjudge situations. It can cause them to anger a little faster. Things that may not have provoked you will provoke you a lot sooner, because it's a spirit of drunkenness. And not saying that, you're a drunk or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. Let's not get that twisted, because that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying some people might say, oh, you can have 1 or 2 drinks as long as you're not drunk. But still, why even tempt yourself to take 1 drink? Because that 1 drink can lead to 2, to 3, to 4. And then you are drunk and making a fool out of yourself. So let's not drink. And I'm not saying, again, I'm not accusing him of drinking. I don't know what's in that cup. I'm just speaking just in general. Let's try to leave all that behind. And I'm not telling anyone what to do. I'm just saying you'll make better decisions. Not necessarily Sammy. Again, I'm just speaking in general. You'll make better decisions when you have a clear, sober mind. So, Sammy, no judgment here. I commend you. Work on yourself. You seem like a upright brother. And we'll all be praying for you. Okay? Let's not pray on someone's downfall because they make a mistake. Repeatedly, that's one thing, but people are entitled to make mistakes. But the main thing is to hold themselves accountable. That is the main thing. So I don't want to carry this out really long. I just wanted to come on and give my little 2 cents of an opinion. And thank you so much for watching. My name is Janae, and you're watching Janae Sunday Talks, and I'll be back soon. Later.